Any man can say, "I'm sorry," but not every man can stay present when a woman he loves is falling apart because of him.
And this isn't about getting her to move on. It's about whether you become someone who can hold what you broke. If you can't, she'll carry it alone, and that's how trust dies for good.
So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to show up in a way that makes her feel safe again and rebuild what was shattered.
We've worked with many couples rebuilding trust after betrayal, and the ones who heal learn these 3 skills.
And most men get defensive here, but there's one question you can immediately ask that shifts the room, and we'll give it to you in just a minute. A few years ago, I actually sat across from a man who had just broke trust, and he was really laying it all out. It was just all out there in the room. His wife, you could see, was absolutely shattered. She was stunned, and there wasn't crazy anger on her face, and I could tell he just kept looking at her what's gonna blow? It has to blow up in a second. But really instead, what he was facing was just silence. After a while, I asked her, I said, what are you feeling right now? And she just whispered, "I don't know if I can trust him with my emotions." And I'll never forget that line. So in this video, we're gonna walk through exactly what it takes to stay present with those emotions in the room. How do we do that? What does it look like?
And keep in mind, in this video, we're not just talking about apologizing, but truly rebuilding safety, showing up when she's grieving what you broke, and becoming someone new in the process. Because here's the truth most men actually miss. If you avoid her pain, she'll carry it alone, and trust dies in isolation.
But if you learn how to hold what you broke without defensiveness, without timelines, you won't just heal her heart, but you'll become the kind of man you are meant to be. So here's step 1 of the process that all couples must do to see trust rebuilt in their marriage again. It's see her pain. You have to see her pain.
Most men actually do apologize. They'll say, "I'm sorry," and they hope that that's enough. But when she's crying over what you broke and you're sitting there unsure what to say, you realize that this isn't about the words. This is to the betrayer. I'm going to give you a little hope. Her pain isn't punishment. It's proof that she actually still cares. And every time you minimize, you explain, or you rush past it, you confirm her worst fear, that she's alone in this.
So witnessing her pain is the first act of repair. So witnessing is more than just simply noticing. I notice her tears on her face. I know that she's super elusive. So witnessing is more than noticing. It's an active choice to stay present with what you'd rather avoid. It's sitting with her sorrow rather than your defenses. Here's the thing is when we feel that hurt inside of us and we see her hurt, what we want to do is we want to distance ourselves from it. If you're the betrayer, I'm speaking for the betrayer here, we want to distance ourselves. We want to get away from that. But the mature response is to be able to witness it and stay with it without giving her the whys or shifting the blame.
Yeah, so witnessing is not analyzing or explaining. It's just being with her grief, being with her fury, her fear, and letting it actually affect you. When you witness her pain, you show her that it matters, and you show that she matters. And ultimately, you stop making her carry it alone. But here's where many couples falter. They think that silence means healing, and they assume that not talking about it is a sign of forgiveness. It's not. Avoiding the wound doesn't mean it's closed. It just means it's festering in the dark. And true healing can't happen where pain is ignored. It begins where pain is witnessed.
Here's what empathy says, and really witnessing the pain has a lot to do with empathy. But empathy says, even though I hurt you, I'm strong enough to face what's been done to you. I won't run. I'll stay with you in it because I love you. And when she sees that you're choosing discomfort over escape, especially if that was your old way of handling things, she sees you understanding over throwing up your defenses and choosing presence over distance, healing can begin because she's seeing you're becoming a different person.
Yeah. And it's really common for men. It's like their instinct to just explain it. There's a lot of jokes out there about husbands, explaining, and the wives just want you to listen.
Yeah.
But you can't rush her through the pain. Empathy requires you to really sit in the discomfort of her hurt. So just ask her gently, can you let me in to what you're feeling right now? And then stay, even if it feels excruciating, because empathy is not fixing it. It's choosing presence over comfort. Remember that her pain isn't punishment. It's proof that she hasn't given up on you.
I've heard someone say that when the hurt spouse can see the pain reflected in the eyes of the betrayer, then they know that they're getting through. They won't have to show the pain as much.
Yeah.
But when couples refuse to sit with it, what happens is they feel the need to overemphasize their pain so that the person that says they love them will actually feel it.
Yeah.
So this is a really big deal that couples have to go through in order for trust to be healed completely.
So empathy is crucial, but empathy is just the beginning. If you want to rebuild trust, it's not enough to witness her pain. You've got to guard the space where healing happens. So this is the second step. Guard the relationship.
So betrayal doesn't just break trust. It really does shift the weight. And this is not something that people talk about very often, but it's true. When she gets in the waves of emotion of what's been broken, she's not capable of carrying her half of the marriage. You're going to have to carry the stretcher. So even if the marriage was hard before, you broke the covenant. Talking to the betrayer here, you broke the covenant, not just with her, but with God. You, the betrayer, introduced secrecy, deceit, and even trauma. So now your job is not to rush her healing. It's not to manage her emotions. It's not to get credit for confessing or say, look, I'm doing all these things, so give me a pat on the back. Your job right now at this moment is to carry the emotional weight without expiration. So many people say, I see them carry the weight for a week or a month, and then they feel, all right, I'm good. She should be over it by now. She has to know that the weight that you're carrying in the relationship is without expiration.
Yeah. She may not be able to emotionally walk right now. Her trust might be limping and her hope really has collapsed. So you don't share that proverbial stretcher, you carry the stretcher.
So in this step, guarding the relationship, this is really what it looks like after betrayal and that balance shifts. She's drowning in grief and you're tempted to ask, how long will this take? Or when can we get back to normal? So let's get rid of that.
That's super common.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. Normal is gone. You're now creating a new normal. But here's the truth. If you're waiting for her to heal so that you can feel better, you're not leading, you're escaping. And that really makes her feel even more unsafe. This is why this step is really so crucial. Your job now is to carry the stretcher, not share it. Don't drop it when it gets heavy. Carry it until she can walk again. That means absolute full access, steady presence, emotional weight bearing with no expiration date. And that's how you become trustworthy again. So guard the relationship, not just how she's depending on you, but also guarding her from the things that could cause her re-injury. So watching the environment, bringing things up before she has to. These are all things that you can do actively to guard the relationship.
And I'm going to say this again because it bears repeating. Her pain is not punishment. It's the echo of your impact. So you don't flinch at her tears. You don't silence her triggers. You don't measure her progress. You show up, you stay, you shoulder the weight you created. And if she senses that you're only carrying it until she's intimate, until she stops crying, her storm is not your inconvenience. It's really your invitation. You ground her with your presence, not your performance.
Yeah, and that's so critical. If you could see that her showing emotion is an invitation or an opportunity for you to come in and do the thing that you should have done, guarding, before, you'll actually start to shift things and move in the correct direction of healing.
Yeah.
So remember that you guard her with your presence, not your performance. You're not trying to fix it. You're not trying to rush it, but you're trying, just hold fast. So here's what you can ask her just to maybe start that conversation on what guarding looks like. You can ask, what does safety look like for you today?
Yeah.
How can I offer it to you? That could just get the conversation going.
A lot of people, when they think about guarding, they think it's just the boundary setting, and boundaries are important, but guarding isn't just about the rules and the filters alone. Guarding is also tenderness and consistency and full access. It's vulnerability. You become her emotional guardrail and her spiritual covering again, her relational refuge. You create the kind of safety that doesn't have to be earned. It's just simply there. So something you can say to her is this: there's no time limit on your healing. I'll carry the weight until safety really feels real again. If she knows that she's reassured of the no expiration date on you carrying the weight, that's going to create safety for her.
But carrying the weight is only half the battle. And if she never really sees the real you, your struggle, your remorse, your heart, she can't connect.
Yeah.
So now here is the third step that every couple does when healing is honest and true, authentic. So step 3 is let her into the real you. We like to give the analogy of a zoo. And if we go to the zoo, we can see a lion through the glass.
Yeah.
Transparency is like looking through that glass. Really, you're not affected by the lion, but its beauty, right? But if we pull back that glass, you're now vulnerable. And this is the difference we like to draw between transparency and vulnerability. Oftentimes, we show ourselves transparently, but there's no real risk. Remember that love is risky. But the only way really for us to rebuild is that she can see those parts of you that you had once maybe only shown her transparently. So here's the check. Here's the question you can ask yourself if you're the betrayer here. If it doesn't feel risky sometimes, if you're always playing it safe, you're not being vulnerable. And if you're not being vulnerable, she's not really getting to see you. And she'll know that even if you don't have all of this stuff worked out in your minds, but we kind of get it. Because remember, whenever trust is broken, there were secrets, which means that you weren't vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so this is really a massive part of the trust rebuilding process.
And to be clear, transparency is important as well. So early on, transparency is full, unfiltered honesty about what you did. And she deserves to know what you did and what she's healing from. And we have other videos that we can link here in the show notes about how to share what you did, because some of those details aren't healthy for her to know. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. But if that's all you offer, transparency alone, you're still behind the glass. You're visible, but you're untouched. There's not a lot of risk. It's very controlled and protected. And she needs to see you taking that risk. Vulnerability invites her in. And that process is scary for everybody. Even the person who walked out, they need to see that the process is hard for you, the betrayer. The spouse who's hurt needs to see their pain reflected in your eyes.
So here's a question that the betrayer could ask just to practice letting her in. This could be very new to you, but you can ask this: what part of me do you wish you had more access to? And then open the gate, show, take that risk. So remember, you don't have to be flawless. You don't have to be perfect. What she needs right now, or the betrayed needs right now, is you to be fully there. See her pain, guard her heart, let her in. This isn't just a mantra, but really right now, that's your mission.
So you don't earn trust back with one grand gesture. You earn it through daily evidence. She needs to see it. She needs to feel it. She needs to believe it again and again and again. So if you're asking, how do I prove to her that I've changed? Stay with us, because in the next video, we're going to show you how to actively rebuild trust.
Not with pressure, not with promises, but with patterns. It's daily proof that you're becoming the man she hoped you were. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the bell, and don't miss a thing. We love all you. We'll see you in the next video.